Yo, what's up, guys and gals, dudes and dudettes? It's the boy, the myth, the legend, Dawson. Yes. If you looked on my Facebook page, you saw that name. Today I'm outside, like my last video. Now, I did post a video recently today about my little Moses parting in the Red Sea. I want to explain how we can take the Moses parting in the Red Sea and put it into our life. One is, of course, God always makes a way out of it. But no, I was saying, what happens if we take it and put sin into it? Imagine you're trapped like them. Oh no, we're stuck in between an army and there's a sea over there. What are we gonna do? But let's take it. The army is your demons coming after you, and the sea is your sin. You're standing over here like, oh no, a sea of sin in front of me. But there's a army of demons right behind me. What do I do? I'll tell you what that is. You ask God for help, like Moses did. Lord, I know you did not send an entire nation out here to perish. Deliver us. And then God's like, why are you crying out to me? Aren't I the Almighty? I always make a way for you, man. Just stand up and stretch out your hand over the sea. It'll part. It's like an everyday thing for him. He'll part. Yeah, he'll make it. So, why don't we put ourselves in that situation? You know, sees in front of us our sin, and you're like, so what could God do for me? Well, if you're not saved, the second you're saved, God will part that sea for you. Your sin's parted out of the way. Even if you still are a Christian and you're still facing some demons, God can still part that sea for you. Just like he did for Moses. God can block those demons off and part that water for you. And once you make it to the other side, he's like, you did it. You did it. You kept your faith. And now, I was always thinking about this, but now there's 3 different types of people I came up with. Christians, those who are on the choice of being saved, and those who just refuse to believe. Now, I always thought if you were the ones that refuse to believe, you're the one that just says, I don't care. I'll be destroyed anyway. Let the demons or the sea take me. But now if you're choosing to be saved, you're like, what do I do? You're like, do I just call for God to help me and get saved? Or do I just follow my old ways and let the demons take me? So, but now Christians still are faced with this problem. Let's say all that down there is like a sea of sin. I'm standing up here, I see an army of demons coming right at me, and I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, Lord, help me. But then he blocks the demons and just says, stretch out your hand, man. Stretch out your hand and pray. I'll take care of it. And I say, Lord, please help me. And that sea just parts right there. Right there. It just parts. And I'm like, I know I'm saved. And then I walk over to the other side. I'm on the other side going like, I just walked through that. And God saved me from that army over there. And then the second the army gets in, it closes up. But now, I'm not the only one this happens to. We all struggle with something. If you say if you're a person that says your sea of sin's that deep, if the Lord loves liars, he would take you today. Because no one's sea is that deep of sin. Everybody's probably 50 feet under, man. And I know that sounds like a movie title, but it's true. I always said if you always said your sin was that deep, you're a fib. That's a fib. And like, how can people say that? If sin was so great, Jesus had to die for it, then why are you saying your sin's only that deep? Why? And you're calling on God to help you when you're saying your sin's that deep. All you seriously have to do if you're saying your sin's that deep, you just have to walk. Seriously, just walk straight through the water. like I'm doing these rocks, is walk straight through the water and make it to the other side. And then you're like, oh, God will take care of them. That is a fib you're telling right there. That is a pure fib. Because if you're saying, oh, my sin's that deep, but then you're over here panicking, going like, God help me, what am I supposed to do? Part this water for me. Part that much of water. That deep of water. And you're telling him, part it for you. Now, off that subject, there may be some of you, your sin's that deep. That plot of land. Pretty sure there's a lot of people that sin stretches that far down. All the cuss words you've said, all the evil deeds you've done, serial killers, you stole something, you said a big fib, like saying your sin's that deep. But all we have to do is ask God for help, and he'll part that sea of sin for us and make it to the other side. Now, we still fail. That sin may get deeper, but it gets easier with his help. It gets easier. I love to be the bearer of good news. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not coming down on you saying, if you're telling this, no. If you just focused on that part of the video, I'm glad you got something good out of it. But now if you focused on saying that I was hurtful, it's the truth. I've met people that said they're perfect. I've even met people that said they've never committed a sin in their life. Another fib that adds on to how deep your water gets. But then they still sit here and God forgives them and they say, Lord, I stretched out my hand. Can you just help me? Help me. And all you see is that water start bubbling, and then you see a clear path straight through. And you're like, he did it. All you gotta do. Now when that happens, it's your choice to take the step in, or you cower enough and then you're like, no, I don't trust this. No, and then you start backing up. And you're like, no, and then you're faced with this wall. And then I don't know, the army of demons come, and then you're done for. You become a worse person, and you become a worse person. And if that happens, then you were better off for not asking any help. And now, I know this video seems probably long, but I just felt like saying those words. Well, guys and gals, dudes and dudettes, I hope you all have a good one.